Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching yet another episode of Lima Shenanigans of 1977. It's Thursday night, and you know what that means. It's time for your TNA Event Center Wrestling Report. And now here's the man to give you that report, Mr. Eric M. Lima.
Thank you much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Lima Shenanigans of 1977, episode 2043, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode of Rant and Rave tonight, episode 280, with 20 episodes now away from 300. Check the episode out on Brandon Martin's channel if you have not seen it yet. And we had a great time ranting and raving about the NBA All-Star Weekend. I talked about Logan Paul being banned from Egypt. It was a lot of fun joking around about that. But we got to get into it. And now the weather report, I want to say this. Last week they hyped this storm up to be 5 to 8 inches here in New Bedford. Now you come to a week later, and I basically got nothing out there. Except for the remaining snow that happened during the other storm. Because let me tell you something right here, right now, man. Like I said, they've been hyping up a lot of storms. But whatever big storm they had moved way south of us. It didn't track went, and we barely got anything. But night's almost over though. But I'll probably wake up and find a few inches on. But we've been lucky so far. It was supposed to happen this afternoon. Nothing, absolutely nothing. So we're good. We're good for the time being, man. Let me tell you, so it is totally awesome, like I said. But we got one more day of work tomorrow, but before we get to that, we got to talk about TNA Impact. Ever since the partnership with the WWE for mainly NXT, it is a huge deal. It has been crazy, to say the least, and TNA has gotten crazy. It started out with a Joe Hendry championship concert to kick off Impact, which takes place at NXT's old home, Fuil Sail University, the original home of NXT, at one point before they moved over to the PC. And it completely kicked off TNA Impact. And as he's strumming away, having some fun with the fans, a surprise appearance by the Colognes, Eddie and Orlando Colon, cousins, now formerly known as the Shining Stars. The Colognes arrived in TNA. Looks like another tag team has been entering the fold, and that would be helpful. Not only that, with the TNA deal, they could go to the WWE and NXT and, lots of craziness. So, yeah, Carlito's brother and cousin arrived in TNA. And then, another huge surprise, Elijah, who was supposedly signed with AEW ROH to join up with the Righteous, but he decided to join forces with Joe Hendry. Santino Marella comes out and said, hey, tonight, main event matchup, Joe Hendry and Elijah against the Colognes in a tag match. Two talented musicians against one of the best tag teams, and like Tom Hennepin mentioned, they are former WWE World Tag Team Champions. G.A. Miller interviewed Leon Slater, and then about his match against JDC, and then after the commercial break, she interviewed the Colognes, and they're saying that we're here in TNA. This is where it's at. We're here to change things. Speaking of tag matches, the Rascals went up against Tyson DuPont and Tyreek Igwe from NXT. The Rascals ended up picking up the victory, and Wesley issued a challenge to Ace Austin and the Rascals to a 6-man tag trios matchup at Sacrifice, and that match will be happening there. So it'll be really, really cool. First Class comes out to address the Fuil Sail crowd using the First Class penthouse. They brought out their entourage, and among that entourage, Frank the Clown and Noel Foley. They've been a couple for quite a while. Frank the Clown was a wrestling fan, and now he's like a manager, and he doesn't have the makeup, doesn't have the clown makeup and all. And the lovely Noel Foley, daughter of WWE Hall of Famer Mick Foley, and her first TNA appearance. So they were among the entourage of the First Class penthouse. And of course, AJ Francis and Casey Navarro runs down the Fuil Sail crown and all that good stuff. And knockouts action, Lei Ying Lee. Remember, this is her return to Fuil Sail University when she wrestled there under the NXT name of Xia Li. Went up against Rosemary. Lee won the matchup against the former TNA Knockouts champion. Rosemary did not take the loss too well. Decided to attack Lei Ying Lee after the matchup and sprayed mist in her eyes. Great Muta style. So, and referees decided to take Lei Ying Lee away from the situation. Meanwhile, Sami Callihan has another episode of Death Machine TV, and decided to hunt down Mance Warner and finds Warner with Sami Callihan, and both men decide to brawl. Meanwhile, the medical team was checking up on Lei Ying Lee, while Tessa Blanchard confronted the doctor and said, "Hey, I need to be checked out before I get cleared." And he said, "Oh, you're not important." So Tessa Blanchard fed up with it. But Eric Young addresses these actions against Josh Alexander, who wrestled his final match in TNA, and decided that he'll take charge of the Northern Armory of Juice Icarus and Travis Williams. But then he said that a man should be right beside him will be Steve Macklin. So he goes, "Steve Macklin, come on out and take your place at my side." Macklin did not show up. He says, "Yeah, I understand. I understand what's going on." So there's that. Mike Santana was actually kind of sharing me, I don't know, the double A meeting or something like that, I don't know. And then Mustafa Ali, the good hands of Tasha Steele, showed up, and he starts talking about things, and it looks like Mike Santana is trying to keep his anger in check. He's got a stone face, he's wearing his shades, and he's getting a little snarl, like a little twitch on his face. I think Mustafa Ali is trying to annoy the heck out of Mike Santana. And it's almost working to a point. Then, no to 12 occasion match. Leon Slater went up against JDC. JDC came up short last week for the Heritage Cup title against Alexis King. The system comes out to get involved during the matchup. Leon Slater was put for a table. JDC got the cover. He ended up winning the matchup. And then as they were about to continue to beat up on Leon Slater, here comes the Hardys. And then, as the Hardys were getting outnumbered, lights went out. Oba Femi showed up, the NXT champion, and basically cleaned house. And basically cleaned house of the system. System were complaining about Oba Femi showing up, and then Morella decided to make confronts them and said, "Well, I'm making a 6-man tag next week. It'll be the 3 of you members of the system, Moose, Eddie Edwards, and Brian Myers, against the Hardys and Oba Femi," and they're complaining about that one. Tessa Blanchard addresses the Fuil Sail crowd, says she refuses to wrestle. And then, and because she blames the medical team, was very upset with that, and so she decided not to wrestle. Santino Morel comes out to you're fighting next week. Mila Moore was in the ring, waiting for Tessa to fight her. He goes, "I'm not going to go in the ring with somebody who's not on my level." And then Santino Morella goes, "Are you going to fight next week or you get fired?" A lot of people have been hating on Tessa Blanchard, and you know what? Could be for reasons outside the ring or outside the TV screens. But I'm telling you something right now, they're really milking that while it's up on Tessa Blanchard, which I think is going to be something. And then Masha Slamovich comes like, "Hey, listen, if she ain't going to fight, let me fight." So Masha Slamovich took on Mila Moore. Slamovich didn't win the matchup. And as she was taunting Tessa Blanchard, Cora Jade attacked her from behind and took out Masha Slamovich, as you know. A sacrifice that will be a matchup for the Knockouts title as Masha Slamovich defends against Cora Jade. As Cora Jade's walking up the ramp, she signs up Tessa Blanchard. Those two talk a little smack. Interesting situation, to say the least. And then that Santino Morella, Ariana Grace made the matches like something huge. Sacrifice TNA and NXT come together. And notice the sash on Ariana Grace is now Miss NXT TNA. But the personal concierge with the elegant connection of Ash and Heather complaining about, them getting them rematch for the Knockouts Tag Team title. Spitfire comes up and said, we'll give you the match. I'll tell you what, I haven't, we'll tell you what, we got an idea. How about this? Whoever wins has to be the personal concierge for the other. So, both teams agreed on it. The Knockouts Tag titles will be on the line in that situation. Then Ryan Nemeth addresses the Fuil Sail crowd, telling him about where Nick Nemeth is, what he's doing during his suspension. So there's that. And then the matchup. Joe Hendry and Elijah in the main event of TNA Impact against the Colognes, Eddie in Orlando, and guess what? Not Primo and Epico. Eddie in Orlando, and Hendry and Elijah won over one of the veteran great tag teams in the Colognes. So, that is it for Impact of TNA Event Center for February the 20th, 2025. I'm really excited. Tomorrow's the last day of work for me, for the work week, and then get the weekend off. And what is on the docket for, I have something on my lip there. Got it. What's on the docket for next week, and not next week, tomorrow. You got Bullseye, my Bullseye Bonus Island gameplay, Fearless Friday, or Friday getting paid. So that'll be on the next episode. And SmackDown, and we just found out that The Rock will make his return to the WWE on SmackDown this coming Friday on the USA Network. Tomorrow, will Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett be calling the action there. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. And I'm really excited, looking forward to it. So that's all the time we have on the show. Thank you for tuning in. And like I said, tomorrow we got episodes of Bullseye, SmackDown, and the like. So hope to see you guys there. So thank you for tuning in, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, blessed night. Sleep tight. If you're out in any foul weather, please be safe. Please be smart when you drive. Okay. So until next episode comes rolling around, Mr. Announcer, take us home.
That is all for today's episode. This is your announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E, doing for Bob Saget Productions, and in association with a Raven Bofa Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching today's episode. Tune in next time for another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. Goodbye for now.